Hi guys, Dorota Palicka, international nail artist and educator here, and I'm in with Megan today. So I am actually quite happy because we can do a sculpted almond shape for a change. And in this video I will show you the structure and like how I'm prepping the nails. And then on the second video we are gonna do a quite nice autumny design with a touch of browns, greens and a tiny bit of the gold transfer foil. So first of all, I need to push back her cuticles, and I can actually see it. She's got quite a long... When have you had your nails done last time?
A year ago.
Yeah, so long time ago, which means like I need to be very precise with my prep. As you can see, there is quite a lot of cuticle coming in from the nail plate. I can also feel it, her nail plate is a little bit slidey. So before I start doing anything, I'm gonna clean off everything. So nice and squeaky clean. If you do not clean any oils which are on the nail plate, it is gonna be quite difficult to do good prep, and we are kind of gonna massage those oils into your nail plate. Cuticle bit just to clean up the entire nail plate from the cuticle, so nice and decent clean. And usually for a cuticle prep, I'm working with a nice and slow speed. So I am using the K38 at the 20 speed. Do not put pressure, and also do not hold your bit like that. You want to hold it nice and steady with a little pressure. As you can see, she got a bit of even almost redness around the cuticle area, which indicates to me her skin is very delicate, and I have to be very delicate with the nail prep as well. Normally I don't let the clients to hold their hands one on top of another. I don't let the clients to touch their hands, scratch their faces. And this is a very important step when doing a nail prep as well, guys. So quite often you do spend all this time like making sure the things are really nice and pretty, prepped properly. And same, I do not let the clients help me. You could see, yeah, Megan turning her hand. This is a pretty dangerous situation. When you're working with the e-file, you need to have a full control of what is happening in there. So do not let the clients help you too much. And there we are. She is it first time, or maybe you had me in the past?
I think I did my nails the first time. This is my third time getting them done.
Ah, okay. So yeah, I did Megan nails like some time ago. And I usually try to educate my clients as much as possible, but I kind of keep reminding them the things on the go as well. Now my next, you're brilliant. Now, my next step would be just to trim the cuticles a little bit. Because as I noticed, like her skin is pretty delicate, and if I do too excessive manicure before we start shaping, it could end up pretty bad. I mean, obviously we're recording in a salon, it's gonna be really noisy and quite a lot of disturbs today. That's why I also decided to do this video in two sections. And I'm actually grateful that Megan had the time for it, and she's happy for us to record it because I can show you slightly different type of the nails, like and different shape as well, which is fantastic. I would say she's got pretty nice natural nails. They're not the longest nail beds, but I would still class them as a pretty nice, decent nails. Especially the fact that she can have them natural this length. Okay, perfect. My next step is to grab the blue file. It's 180 by 100 grit, and because it's a brand new, very sharp file, what I usually do is I am very gentle at shaping the free edge, and I kind of try to get rid of the sharpness from my file I like to also work with the corners of it so I can scratch the surface of the natural nail. You cannot leave any shiny places on it. Better to be safe than sorry. So I just re-scratch my file, recheck it with my glove. And again, this is the type of video which you can save for any kind of design. Like, you know, when we're building the structure of the nail, you can just save this video and then grab any design I'm showing you on the tips and put that on that set. So add it to your favorites, because as usual it will be packed with lots of useful informations.
Yeah, definitely some days where like, oh, we could really do without them, but then they come out.
So when I'm filing the free edge for a form application, I want to have a tiny bit of it left, just so I can hook my forms underneath. I mean, obviously you don't want to leave too much, just enough so you can hook the form. And I'm always going into the rounded shape. You can see it just because we have cleaned them and because of the nail plate, they scratch really nice. And I love it when the nail plate becomes this whitish color. That indicates to me the nails shouldn't have a problem with the lasting time. The nail plate is scratching pretty nice. Okay, in the corners, I'm using the corner of the file. And this way my nail plate is ready for a next step. I'm just gonna do it quickly on the other hand and then come back to you when it's maybe a bit quieter. Okay, the next step is to dehydrate again and re-inspect your free edge. So you guys want to make sure there is no like rough things underneath of the free edge, because that will really badly disturb your form application. Also, I have never sculpted the set of the nails for this client, so I don't know if I have to trim the forms or not. They also come like in a roll of 300 pieces, and I always store the back of the form, so I would just like tear them like this. Keep this part for the designs later on, like so I don't bin it, I keep it as my mixing palette. As awesome tip, guys. Then this part of the form goes behind, underneath, but leave some gap in there, okay? Because if you need to trim the form, it's easier to trim through one piece of paper than two pieces of the paper. And then I'm gonna try it and see it if I can go without of cutting, but I can see it, the free edge is in some places, like I might be struggling this nail, I might be struggling that one. The nail folds are on the deeper side. This one should be very easy, so I shouldn't have to cut the form. You can see it goes kind of really nice, but on the pinky I need to cut the form. So you have to always judge it by the client fingers. Like on some fingers the forms just slide in there, on some clients you need to cut the form, and like on my nails, you know guys, I need to cut every single form. So for this client, I'm just cutting out the form a little bit straighter, just because her nails are quite straight and the nail folds are a bit deeper. So I need to cut it that way, so I'm able to pre-pinch it. I'm always coming up from behind to hide the client view. So my hand is usually hiding the client view. If you do not hide the client view, they tend to help you too much. And again, that can cause trouble. So slide the form underneath. like where the middle is, and then just relax it tiny bit. And then whenever you've got that sweet point and the form has a really nice contact with the free edge, you can start closing this form.
So if I wanted to do,
And then move on into another nail. Again, straight away, I'm gonna cut it. The joys of, so what else I always do it, I keep the wipe in here, guys, because those cuts out always get stuck into your scissors, and this way I can just attach it there. It's such a great saver, and otherwise you would be just struggling, like getting rid of that piece, because honestly the glue on the forms is so strong. So get rid of that, open the form and pre-pinch it in my fingers. So nicely roll in. The wings need to be close and exact. It usually, I will be honest with you guys, like it usually doesn't matter if you're going for a very short nails, but the longer they are, the more precise you need to be with your form application. Okay, so if I would be extending only 1 or 2 millimeters, it doesn't matter really. You can still pull a pretty decent shape, like even if your form is a little bit off, but the longer they are, the more perfect it has to be. Now, because I don't like the nails which grow down, I usually keep my tabs open, and that's mean my form is a little bit higher up. So the longer the nail is, the higher the form is. I'm going to show you the side view, guys. You can see it. Fantastic. You can see it. Let me grab this one. You can see it, like I can hide my apex in this area here. And if I will go for a very long stiletto, my stiletto at the end is gonna be thin like this form, because I'm gonna hide all my product inside, and I can still shape the nail straight. You can see that in the camera, okay? So I can still shape nails nice and straight, and the end is gonna be nice and thin. Because I'm gonna go for about this length, like up to 100% of the nail bed extension, I usually try to don't do it any longer to my clients. The free edge is going to be also nice and thin, and I will be able to hide quite a lot of product inside, making a structure nice and stronger, but also making them visible really nice and thin. Okay, again, piece of that on the back, and then trim another form. And usually if I'm doing a full set on the forms, I would apply the form on maybe 1 or 2 fingers and then start applying my prep. And I'm actually going to show you that way, just so you can see it where I am saving my time. Okay, go for a middle finger. And honestly, like cutting out the forms and in the middle, like, and making them wider, it just makes your application so much easier, and you've got such a great contact with the free edge. And you can also pinch, like squeeze the form stronger. I'm checking the how straight they are. An extra nail prep, which is a nail dehydrator, so we want to dehydrate that nail plate, but also this needs to dry a little bit. So this is where I'm saving a time. I'm preparing another form, okay? Even if I don't put it in, I can kind of, you know, prepare it, roll it, especially as you can see it with the gloves, it's quite fiddly. Put that on the side and grab universal air bond, apply it on the other nails. Okay, so universal air bond. And again, because this needs to dry a couple seconds, I've got time to slide that form in. So I always do it something and try to think up front. This one, I don't need to cut it. It slides in beautiful underneath. And I never bother to put the form underneath of the thumb until I finish sculpting those nails. The color we're gonna go for is a milky pink, and that's the most universal one I'm using actually in a salon. You can see it in a pot, like when it's brand. I actually just opened it at this pot, a client before that. So when it's in a pot, it looks quite intense, but on the nails it looks really nice and natural, really beautiful. Pick up a small scoop of the product, and now we are gonna extend and build up the skeleton, I call it. Okay, so I'm measuring the size of the nail bed, and then I'm gonna extend it at 100%. So pick up another scoop of the product. Make sure that there is a contact with the free edge and on the side, and then extend it nicely to the almost letter M, I would say, because we want to have something to shape, so almost to the letter M. Okay, this way I have built up the skeleton for a first nail, and I've got time to cook it. So cure it, don't bang the form, fantastic, nice and slow. I did apply also the forms on the other hand, so we do have to do an extra nail prep. And as you can see, the thumbs are clear of the products. Apply universal air bond. And because I want my right hand done before the left hand, my right hand is ready for the next step. So I grab the right hand. Yep. And I can start sculpting this nail. I need my hand to be squeezed in there. Now the only trouble is always with the form, you need to be able to squeeze your hand underneath of the client hand. So that's why I moved my fan, so I can really place my hand underneath and support it, and also play with the client finger, because that helps me a lot with the product application. And again, when I'm starting at the free edge, I'm building a little bit more product in there. So like a little bit more in there, make sure it has a contact with it, and then nice and thin skeleton of 100% of the nail bed. Inside? No? This hand underneath?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Perfect. That is great. And then when the other hand is freezing, I can do it on that one too. So nice and thin layer, and then a little bit thicker at the free edge, one side and other side. Change. Universal air bond in here. Fantastic. Now I can also check how the form took, and sometimes when I build up the skeleton in its perfect condition, I can just pull the form straight away. This is gonna make the life much easier for you guys, because, and for your client as well, because you've got one form less. I'm gonna just squeeze that more in. I want to taper this nail a little bit more. Change. They are a little bit flared nails as well. Flared? Oh gosh, I don't know how to pronounce that word. You need to help me. Fun?
Yes.
Yeah. So those kind of nails are always pretty difficult to make them nice and slim looking, and that's why it is really important to taper your form, like as much, like pinch your form as much as possible, but at the same time you need to have a really good contact on the sides. You cannot overfile the sides, because that would cause lots of trouble. So we need to kind of follow like a nice and happy medium, and I will show you that with the final look of the nails change. Re-inspect this one, so I'm checking if I've got product everywhere, and if I'm sure I've got the product everywhere, I can pull the form down from another nail. Again, make sure you apply it to the free edge. Change. Re-inspect this one. And I can see it, I have missed a tiny bit of the product in the corner, so I have just add that in. Change. Re-inspect this one. This one I'm missing a tiny bit of product in that corner too. And this is the hardest part, the most awkward part as well, because the things are quite uncomfy. I cannot apply the product on the thumbnail because I'm always doing all 5 fingers at the same time, like curing wise. But I can start putting the form underneath, putting universal air bond, and this is the time when I'm doing it now. So first of all, like, I think I might get away with the thumb. It has a wee sensor in it, so if you take your hand out and put back in, it will. So yeah, I don't have to pinch the thumb, like I don't have to cut the thumb form, which is so nice. And now I have added a tiny bit of the product. I can start building up apex and put a nail prep and universal air bond on the thumb. So nail prep first. And when is this drying, I've got time to build up the apex on my pinky. Okay, so now you can see she's got some white marks on the nails, so that means she can be pretty heavy on her nails. And I need to, that will indicate to me to don't go overly too thin. So I'm just gonna make them a little bit on a thicker side, I would say, just to be safe. So that's my apex done. And the way I'm building it, like, I don't go too close to the free edge change. I do it more from the middle, so when the hand is ready for a filing, these edges are gonna go very fast. Like, I will have the apex, which is nicely self-level, and I like to do it at kind of outside the shape. So this part, the part which I'm applying right now is a little bit outside. The shape, but I prefer it have like 1 or 2 millimeter more, and just touch it with the file than have not enough. Change. Now it means I can remove the form from those 2 nails, and that will allow me to also start building my thumbnail after I apply the universal air bond. So universal air bond, and this one acts as a base gel. And then I can also build up the apex on this nail. So nice and thin layer through the entire surface, like you will have enough product on your side, enough product on your cuticle. Look, everything is like nicely touching here. And then pick up a decent scoop for your apex. Nice and decent scoop. And the apex is gonna run actually that's maybe too much product. The apex is gonna run through the middle. There we are, just pull it there. Because by the time it cures and by the time I start distributing, look what is happening here. The product is just running to the places I need it. And because I don't touch it too much, it's creating a beautiful shape and apex change. That layer can feel a little bit hot, so the best way to don't feel hot is put your hand inside, count to 5 seconds in your head, take your hand out and then put it back in. So take it out, put back in, again take it out, And you kind of keep playing with your hand a few times until the hot feeling is gone. Yeah? Have you felt it hot?
A little bit.
Yeah, so this way you could also, guys, let's hear it like what I'm doing with the heat spike. So especially when we're building up the apex on the form, where we have to put quite a decent amount of the product, the exothermic reaction can happen like during the curing. And what I usually do it is I advise my clients to put their hand inside, hold it for 5 seconds, remove it, and kind of keep repeating the process, so this way they don't feel the heat spike change. So we're kind of slowing down the curing process. Now I've got the time to put the product on the fan and start curing my skeleton, so later on it's gonna be ready for the apex. Also watch out sometimes when you're closing the form, because some fingers might be more powerful than the others, and you can close it too strong on the one side, so keep that in mind. Nice and thin layer, nice and thin layer. Pick up a bigger scoop. Make sure your product touch the free edge everywhere. Touch it here. Even if I'm gonna file it later on, I want to still have it like half a millimeter more product. It's such a thin layer, it doesn't gonna take you a long time to file it. Change. Now this way I can also get my client to keep all 5 fingers at the same time as well, because there was just a little bit of product on the thumbnail. Now it was also time to clean my brush, because it starts becoming messy, and the messy brush means like more difficult product control. Pull that nail form down just to make the life easier. I'm gonna build up this apex here, and then I'm gonna put the form on the thumb as well. So release it from your brush and then start dragging it down. I have relaxed the client hand because I had the feeling this one was going a bit wonky. Change. She's so delicate that the lamp doesn't read her. Okay, apex on this finger. So look how messy it looks, and then once we place the apex, like the things start looking better. And then pick up a decent scoop of the product, ideally on the one side of your brush. That's it. Release it from your brush. Clean off your brush, and now just help the product a little bit. Change. Fill the form. Now it's time to do the thumb. Watch out so it doesn't get hot. And again, probably don't have to cut that form for the thumb. Trying to get some room. Once you also close the form and you start pinching it, the form is raising and is creating a better contact with your free edge. I'm gonna show you from underneath. Come. There we are. Okay, so you can see it like, so when the form is flatter, it might not touch. Once we close, the form comes up higher and it creates a beautiful contact with the free edge. Okay, then start closing the form. That's enough. You don't want to over pinch it, because then you get a funny shapes, and also you might basically it's a funny shape, like you need to almost follow the natural nail as well. So this one needs to dry. I've got time again to pull the form down, re-inspect this one, pull the form, no, don't pull the form down. Universal air bond, change your hands. It almost sounded like no sense, because on the other hand we have just applied the universal air bonds and the form, but the drying time takes some time. So even if we do those little things when we freeze this nail, that is quite helpful, guys. Build up those apex. Beautiful change. Okay, now I can't pull the form from the pinky. I think the way my client is holding the pinky is hiding from the lamp, so this side isn't pure enough. I could feel it when I tried to pull the form down. So what I'm gonna do is bring in more product, build up the apex on this one, and leave the thumb alone still, unfortunately. Nice and thin layer again, and build up the apex. So decent scoop. You're so delicate. Check the apex, change. Okay, now is the time for me to, perfect. Fast learner. I love when my clients learn so fast. So now is the time for a thumb. Again, pick up the scoop of the product, like because it's a thumbnail, it needs a bigger scoop of the product. Again, only on the one side of the brush. And start building up the apex. The less you play with your product, the less air bubbles you're gonna have and the less holes you're gonna have. Like, let the product self-level like as much as possible. Okay, so you can see I had bump in here and the product starts self-leveling. It's kind of lowering, coming down. Sometimes I help it because I want to cook it faster, but you can almost leave it alone and just watch so it doesn't run on the side. Just your thumb on its own, perfect. Okay, finally I can start pulling this form down, because my client, I could see it how she holds the pinky now. Pull it down, there we are. And I can start putting the product on the thumb. My other thumb is freezing. Like, just so the product doesn't run. And I'm working only with the one lamp, guys. Like, I've got just one lamp on the desk. Change. All hand-in is good. Now I've got time to pull this form down, and this hand is finished with the product application. I want to show you like how beautifully, can we try go maybe that way? Oh no, disaster. I touch a client with the product. Clean my client's hands, but what I wanted to show you is like how nicely they look from underneath. I know they are messy, but they're kind of nice because they are sculpted set. And now, because I have released all the forms, I can do a final cure of 60 seconds to this hand. So, change. And I've got time to build up apex on this pinky. So just build up the apex, again, a nice and thin layer through the entire hand. Clean my brush and pick up a small scoop of the product for the apex. Nice and thin. Okay, I had too much product on that side, it ran it because it didn't cure, and you can clearly see that. These 4 fingers go on top of your other hand. And I'm gonna freeze the product. Also, I've got time to start cleaning up the mess I have created during the sculpting. Okay, so like get rid of all the stuff we don't need it, because my finger is freezing and the other hand is not ready for the filing yet. I take the top hand. This way the pinky is frozen and I can just concentrate and finish building the thumb. Okay, so I had literally 60 seconds to finish the apex on the pinky and finish the apex on this one. I can actually even pull this form down. It's cured properly, and I've got enough product on the sides. Pick up the scoop of the product. And once I finish that apex, my other hand is gonna be ready for a filing. Okay, so again, check how the apex looks. That's absolutely perfect. Cook it. Okay, so grab some UV cleanser, remove the entire inhibition layer. And I usually use couple wipes, like guys, like one wipe is not enough to remove the entire layer. Close your product because we are gonna shape it soon. And I will show you how to shape them. So it looks pretty terrible to start with, but the way we build it is actually not that bad, because the middle part of the apex is pretty nice and neat already. First of all, I want to file on the sides, like we need to tidy up all this mess, but look, it's just like a one move of the file, and look how pretty it starts becoming, like, you know, one move of the file, because we had only a tiny bit of the product there. Shorten the free edge, and again, it's so simple to do it because I had only a very thin amount of the product here, and all my apex is on the top of it. Now, the client got the tendency to hold the pinky pretty stiff, so that can sometimes give you a very fake illusion of the shape. I will need to recheck that pinky on the client view. Now, the apex area is quite nice, but we need to blend everything which is around the cuticle area. So nice blend around the cuticle area. Thin out the free edge a little bit so it's nice and beautifully thin. Check a client view, and I think just a touch more from that side. And I think we're done with the pinky. You know, if it's not necessarily, you don't have to sometimes even file it much. Do it on this one side, other side. Reshape the free edge. Honestly, I don't even put a much of the pressure when filing. Check, are the side walls equal? Blend everything around the cuticle area. Sorry. I just need to get you in a nice good spot. Thin out the free edge. Okay, leave it alone. Move on into the next nail. So sometimes I kind of like, even if they're not perfect, you have to leave it happy medium, I would say, so you can re-inspect them all after you finish shaping. Again, check those side walls underneath. So my client is not resting the hand wrist at X. I'm just trying to find a sweet point. Yeah, usually I kind of need about couple appointments to learn the client hands and to make the life much easier. As you can see it, I'm not able to even twist her finger on the side. I'm getting there. I'm not able to do it on that side, as maybe my thumb is not strong enough, and I usually try to don't fight with the clients anymore. But sorry guys, this is how I'm reteaching my clients how to do the things properly. There we are. This should be down. That's it. That's perfect. I got you now. So my problem was with, and I think it's so important, guys. I'm gonna move that fan so you can see it. So what this client was doing was holding her hand like, do it like you hold it before, like this. And oh, I can't show you maybe. And you can see I can put my hand underneath so much. So her entire wrist and this part of the hand was landing on my hand, which means I had not enough power to move this hand. When her hand is resting against the fan, like the way it is resting now, I do not have to carry the weight of that hand, and it's such as crucial for full-time nail technicians. You know, you can do it when you do it at like in a house or in occasions. It doesn't matter really, because you do 1 or 2 sets of the nails, and sorry guys, and it is fine. But when you do it at full time, the hand, you cannot feel the client hand. If you do feel, if you have to fight it with the client hand, that's it. You are going to be out of the job within like a couple of the years. And I am really so fussy about it, because I have already a lamp. You can actually even see it through the glove. I've got a pretty large lamp on my thumb, and that was from the small cracks on the bones from holding a client's fingers. So it took a, oh, she already straightened her hand. It's just a repetitive pressure. So please keep, oh, that is fantastic. Keep that in mind, guys. And also I can work faster as well, because I feel like that way I've got a full control over a client hand. So very important thing to stress out. Again, blend everything around the cuticle area, nice and slow, because as I mentioned it, she's got pretty delicate skin, and you need to take that into the consideration. Shorten this nail a little bit, and each time when we shorten it, we need to thin out the free edge. Once we finish the set, I will show you also again from all the angles, so you can actually really see it. Far too long. And then the index finger. Blend around the cuticle area. And the thumbnail. One side, other side. Sort out the free edge. And then blend around the cuticle area. Again, really nice and slow. Check the things, thin out the free edge. And that way they are ready for the next step. So I'm just gonna do exactly the same on the other hand, and then we can buff them to perfection and find out any other imperfections. They are ready for the next step. So usually I take a white buffer and I just buff it in the middle, okay, because I can do it pretty fast, protect the client's nail folds, don't bother about the sides, just smooth out the middle. And a white buffer is a pretty strong buffer, so I can really nicely above the surface. Right in the middle only. Okay, once this part is done, I can move on into the next part. So I'm just gonna grab a gray buffer, and again you need to remove all the sharp edges from it. Like remove it nice and decent. And now you need to slow down. So you want to re-inspect the nails like and see it, how the things look, nice and slow around the cuticle area. Very gentle here. And blend everything. Blend the free edge. And move on into the next nail. Nice and slow. I'm quite happy how the cuticle area is blended, but I'm not happy about the nail folds and the shape of it. So I will be trying to also change the nail shape, the shape of the nail folds. I can only do it to a certain extent, and especially that I could see it like straight away, like she's got very delicate skin. But we are gonna use a wee ball to exfoliate that nail fold as much as possible and so slightly change the shape of it. Okay, so my goal is to make this part thinner and this part wider, just so they don't fan as much. And then go into the thumb. And again, nice and slow. Almost brush away all those dust particles. And you can see it on the sides, like you don't see where the joints are of the nail enhancement and the natural nail. And then as we come out, they more and more tapered. Okay, next step. And then grab the wee ball, put it on a speed 16. So normally I'm around speed 20. For this client, I'm just gonna go 16. Because her skin is so delicate, like, and as nice as gentle, I'm gonna expand this area here. Can you please tell me if you would feel a slightest thing? Okay, you can kick underneath of the table. Like, normally, ideally, I would do it over several appointments, like change the shape of the nail fold. You can see it, she's got even like dry skin on the sides of her fingers, so pretty difficult task. And as I say, I tried just to so slightly expand this area, so nice and slow, because I have no room for a mistake, like not even the slightest room for a mistake. Doing a million things at once. Nice and gentle. And I already quite like this one, and even this one starts looking better. Do it one more time, leave it alone. Put it back into the reverse and do the other side. Please, even a slightest thing. So I'm really relying on a client as well, because as I say, we kind of taking it to the extreme for this type of skin.
Just tickles, that's all.
Just tickles, yeah. And leave it alone. Okay, my next step is to grab the cuticle nipper and just trim it so slightly again. But I quite like it that we almost getting, I mean, it's still a bit triangle shape, like a fan shape, but it has improved so much already. I am really at the maximum in here. And just leave them alone. So I'm just gonna give them a little clean as well, and then I can show you the final look of this set. And of course in the next video we are gonna do the design. Okay, so you can see them from the front, you can see them from the side, nice and beautiful apex, very natural looking. And you can see them from underneath. I love the fact on the forms, like, you know, that we don't have like any gaps, and when the natural nail grows later on, the things looks prettier. I hope guys you have really enjoyed this video how to sculpt an almond shaped nails on the fan nails and a short nails. And I'm sending you huge glittery hugs and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!